Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Cindy here, and today I've got my husband Anthony, and today we are doing a story time of the birth of our daughter, who's baby number 4. So yeah, if you haven't seen the video, I posted it last week. It was more of the birth vlog. So like actually showing you my stay at the hospital, like from the day I got admitted to the day I was discharged, what happened in between. But this is more like a behind the scene. So yeah, so Anthony is going to be giving things from his perspective.
Yeah, so what I'm going to be talking about is mostly what happened behind the camera. So my experience, what I witnessed, what I felt as a man. I know sometimes people think that it's just women who go through this, but also men, we do go through this situation. So I'll be explaining from my point of view.
Yeah, and you know the most exciting thing is at the end of the video we're going to be doing like an official introduction of our daughter, who's actually sleeping like at the back there. Yeah, if she gets fussy, we might take her, but please stay until the end of the video. We're gonna do like a whole face reveal and introduce her officially, and yeah, share her name. So let's get started.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so guys, so where do I start? I guess I've got a lot of things to say, and yeah, I want to try to keep this short. So yeah, let me try to gather my thoughts. So basically, you know, this pregnancy, like from the start, was different from my other pregnancies. Yeah, it's very true that each child is different, and therefore each experience, each pregnancy is different. And even though, like, yes, I've had like unique experiences for all 4 of my children, but in general I didn't used to have morning sickness. Well, I'd only have it like just mildly, you know. And yeah, basically I'll be fine, I'll be active and everything with the first 3, but with this one, from the start, the morning sickness was bad. It lasted up until almost my 6th month. I lost more weight than I gained, and yeah, it was just, you know, I just look totally different. I'm usually one of those women who glow when she's pregnant, but yeah, I was like on another level with this one. So for me, it was not surprising that the birth experience was also, yeah, like different from the rest. So because like I'd had a history of preeclampsia, which is a type of hypertension, high blood pressure that happens to women, like mostly from their 2nd trimester when they're pregnant, and it can be dangerous to both mother and child. So I'd had this with my 2nd child. So afterwards, with the other 2 pregnancies, for my 3rd and my 4th, I would always make sure I monitor the blood pressure. And yeah, like with this one, it was fine, I was okay up until I think about 34-35 weeks. I started noticing that no, my feet are swelling up and I'm looking more puffy, which is you know, one of those indicators. So what I did is a friend of mine has got a like that machine that measures your blood pressure. She lent it to me so I could keep track of it, and yes, it was high. And then when I went for my antenatal appointment, they said, okay, we are going to just we're going to give you some medication, and then you come in like now every week, and then we'll just monitor and see. If it gets out of hand, then we might have to like schedule, like induce you or schedule C-section earlier than your due date, right? So I was like, okay, that's fine. So yeah, apart from that, I was just yeah, I was, you know, I was puffy, I was feeling tired, but I was okay. So now I reached 36 weeks, and yeah, my blood pressure is still high, but it's manageable. And then, like, I remember I was 36 weeks in 2 days, and then I started having like really strong Braxton Hicks contractions, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going into labor early, you know, because I downloaded those you know, like those apps that time your contractions, and it'll tell you like, okay, I think it's now time to go to the hospital. So I did download that, and then yeah, there was a time like for a period of like 2 hours they were coming like at regular intervals, not painful but really strong, like 5 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart. And then I was like, wow, maybe this is labor, you know. But then you remember,
I
yeah.
remember, and it was a Friday, I think.
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
And we were supposed to go to the hospital. I'm thinking, should we go? Should we not? If we don't go, you know, we can't wait the whole weekend. Then I phoned one of my contacts who happens to be medically inclined, and they advised us. No, we phoned the hospital first.
Yes, and then like they didn't, you know, this public hospital. The sister was like, no, I can't tell you not to come or not to come, because if I tell you to come and then you'll be like blaming me for coming early, and if you don't come, you also blame me like we said. And I'm like, I know that obviously they can't, you know, but at least say, you know, I think she should have just said, okay, rather to be safe than so. If you feel like you know, but I didn't feel like, because sometimes you go and they're like, you're wasting our time, you know. I've had cases like that.
Yeah, so true. So yeah, then we found our contact. She actually advised us soundly. She was saying that, you know, whenever there's something to panic, rather go.
Yeah.
But we decided to wait it out until Monday, because your next appointment date was on Monday.
Yes, so that was like Saturday night. But actually, we're going to wait until Monday. But I was like, if it progresses for hours and, you know, if it gets worse, then definitely we'll just go. My hospital bag was packed already. So, but fortunately, it actually was just like a forced labor. So they actually started now. So they actually started coming now like it's odd hours, like after 3 hours, after 6 hours or whatever, you know. So, but at that time I was panicking. So anyway, I was ready to go, but because of my my high blood pressure, I knew that when I go for my appointments, like my antenatal appointment, they might ask me to stay. They might say, because I was already at 36 weeks, they might say, okay, the baby can come now, because that's what happened with my second child. So what I did is I would go, you know, with my hospital bag packed, and then I had a smaller bag, right? So I would go there, and then I would just keep the bigger bag in the boot of the car, and then so that if they say stay over, then I'm ready to go. So basically that's what happened. 36 weeks I went. They said no, it's fine. You know, I didn't have to stay over. But the next appointment I had was when I was like 37 weeks and 3 days, right? And I was just basically, I could really feel that, like, you know what, I'm not getting better. My feet were like,
the balloons.
Yeah.
Get balloon of feet.
Yeah,
I was worried.
I'll see if I can insert a picture if I want to, you know, even though it's like it's over now, but I was like, but I look like, if you know a disease called elephantitis, that's how swollen they were, and like, I had a lot of water retention. So I was like, you know what, I really think this time they're gonna make me stay, because I really tried not to do too much, you know, but it's impossible when you've got, you know, a family, and even though I was just taking it easy, but just, you know, I just literally had to be like on complete bed rest, you know. So anyway, 37 weeks I go. It was on a Monday. I go for my appointment with my bag my bag already packed and ready to go and stuff like that.
I actually think she knew what she was doing, because she's like, pick the bag, let's go. I'm like, no, we're not going in with the bag. That's what I was saying in my mind. But I mean, a mother knows best. So she said we picked the bag, we went, and for a normal checkup. And lo and behold, she was told, we have to keep you here and monitor you.
Yeah, so I was like, I'd already prepared everything. I remember even just, not everything. That was the thing. I tried to get everything done, but I was just so tired. I couldn't do it, and I knew I needed to rest. But I had most of the major things done. Like, I gotten all the stuff I needed for the baby, and I think what was left was just, I wanted to meal prep. I wanted to just organize a little bit. It was minor things, but I remember just saying to my kids that if I don't come, this is what we're gonna do and whatnot. And I'd already prepared everyone. And they like, I went for my appointment, and they said, listen, initially they'd already said we're going to schedule a C-section or induce you from 38 weeks, right? Because your high blood pressure is high. And then
high blood pressure is high. His blood pressure is high.
my blood pressure is high. And so they said, and so at this time they said, no, rather I think we should just monitor you. So instead of going back home, just rather stay at the hospital, and then we're gonna admit you, and then we're also gonna do more thorough tests, and like if we see that there is a cause, we might actually even operate before 37, before 38 weeks. And that was okay. Like I'd said, I think I might have mentioned it before, but like my third pregnancy I ended up having an emergency C-section. So I was like, you know what, it's fine. It was easier for me having a C-section than recovering from a C-section than the two natural births I'd had with my first and my second. So I actually didn't mind. I was like, okay, I actually don't mind. I was like, I know people say a natural birth is better, but I was like for me, based on previous experiences, I was like, I don't mind. So when they were telling me, I'm like, I was prepared for all the scenarios, right? I was prepared to be induced early because that's what had happened before. I was like, I was okay. So when they admit, I'm like, okay, fine, I've got everything covered. And then I was now like on bed rest. And it was nice, guys. I don't want to lie, because my only concern was for Anthony, because I knew he was going to be under a lot of pressure. He's obviously he's self-employed, so he works, it's his own business, right? And then there's the school run, so I would help him before, like at work and also with the kids and everything. But now I was like totally out of it, so he had to juggle, and then he has to come and see me at the hospital as well. Yeah, that's like time away from work, and so that was the concern I had. But otherwise I wasn't in any pain. Yes, I was feeling puffy and like
just anxiety of waiting for a long time in the hospital, not knowing when the time is going to come. I know they'd given you a deadline, but
I wasn't even anxious. I was
anxious
because they told me
I was the one who was anxious right there, so I couldn't wait to see the little one. And because I was excited,
because I was like 37 weeks and 3 days by that time, and they say that we're going to operate from 38 weeks. So I knew that was on the Friday. So I knew just add a couple of days, either they will induce more, they'll operate, or it might be earlier. So I knew within the week, I knew that by the weekend I'll probably have my baby. And I knew that I was in hospital, so even though my blood pressure was high, like there are medical personnel who will be constantly checking, giving medication. I'm in the best of care, so
definitely.
So I was good. So I enjoyed it. Like the first day, it was good. And also in like the ward where I was, there were 6 beds, so there's some people would come in and go, and then there were like 2 other women were like there for a long period, like me. Another one was supposed to be there for like a month, 4 weeks, right? She was in her second week, so she wasn't going anywhere. But it was good just to share experiences with people, because the people that was like the antenatal ward, so it's like people who are not in active labor, or people who have got like complications and stuff like that, but they are not quite ready to give birth yet. So most people were able to talk and eat and whatnot. So so that was it. So the first day was okay. The second day
was okay with a hospital, the view,
beautiful
view, seeing the boards, the open waters.
It was really good. So the second day now, I was fine up until like in the afternoon. Around 4 p.m. I started getting like a headache. It progressed slowly, but it got really aggressive. So I remember my family even bought me like lots of nice food. I was like, you know what, before I have to fast for the C-section or whatever, I'm just gonna enjoy enjoy having like takeout and whatnot. And so they brought the food, but I was like, I was so my head was aching, which is like something that's concerning when you've got preeclampsia. So I didn't really enjoy the food. They gave me medication for it, and so, but by the morning I was feeling better. And yeah, I was like, okay, the headache was now like just like an echo, you know. So I remember I had like a fruit salad that I had. I'm like, no, let me eat this before it goes bad, you know. And then I had fruit juice. And then I still had some of the other food that I had. I'm like, I will have that a bit later for my, like later on in the morning. So I hadn't really eaten a proper meal for quite a while, you know. And then the doctor comes and then they look at my test results and then they see that no, actually, like I'm not getting better, even though I was feeling, apart from the headache, I was feeling not so bad, but I wasn't getting better. So they said, you know what, they need to just do an emergency C-section. So that day I had to have a C-section. So they asked me when was the last meal you had, and then that was like around about 9 a.m. and I said no, it was at 8 a.m. So they said, okay, fine, you need to fast, not eat or drink anything for at least 6 hours. So from 3 p.m. right? And I was like, okay,
Wow.
so
Yeah, that's hectic.
yeah, but you know the difficult thing, guys, if you've been in like a public hospital in South Africa, this is what happens. Because I actually watched other videos and it's not just at the hospital where I was. So what happens is like there are priorities. I think it's called the
Priority
triage. Yeah.
Patients.
Yes, like there's emergencies and there's emergencies, right? And then there's people who are just scheduled for C-sections. So what happens is, let's say there's someone scheduled for a C-section on the 31st, right? They will come in maybe the night before, and then they're supposed to be operated on the next day, on the 31st, right? And then there's someone who's like me, was supposed to be maybe scheduled for a C-section at a later date, but because of test results they say no, it's better I actually get the operation now, right? I would have more priority over that person who's otherwise fine, but they just scheduled for a C-section on that date, who doesn't have any medical issues, like, you know, they're sick, whatever, maybe it's an elective one or whatever, you know. Then I would have priority over that person. And then there's someone who maybe is in labor and then they're not doing so well, or the baby is like in distress. Now that one is priority.
Yeah.
So what happens in a public hospital, they can only operate, do so many C-sections in a day, right? Depending on how many doctors are there and all those things, right? So what happens is now, depending on how critical you are, you might need to wait a while. So what happens is those people who are elective, who are not in a dire condition, you might be told don't eat from 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. the previous day. You're going to be operated on the next day, but they won't tell you like at 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock or whatever. They'll just tell you this is the day, and then if there is a slot for you, then they'll operate. But if, let's say, there are a lot more emergencies that are happening, you might fast the whole day and then they say sorry, there wasn't a slot for you, you can now eat, you know. So you don't know how long you go without food, and then it can actually happen for like days on end. I remember watching a video of a lady in another hospital in another province. It went on for 8 days. 8 days of her just going the whole day without eating, because she was scheduled for a C-section.
So she was fasting for 8 days straight.
Yeah, not straight. She'd have to break it. Maybe they would come around 4 p.m. So they would always tell her, eat. You can't eat after 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. I'm not so sure, right? So she would have supper, but then the whole day should be waiting, because she wouldn't know, are they going to operate me in the morning or what? And they always say nothing. It's not easy, right? Easy. Exactly. So for me, I knew that they're going to operate me soon, but I didn't know what time. So they said from 3 p.m. because that was 9 a.m. So she said from 3 p.m. But I knew, because there'd been like 3 other ladies when we had this similar experience, that it's not going to be 3 o'clock.
I remember the other one saying that she was waiting for 24 hours. Yes. In the same place.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, one lady just couldn't help herself. She ate, but she didn't want to wait. So when they asked her, when was the last meal? She's like, I didn't eat. And then she went and had the C-section after having eaten snacks the whole time and whatnot. I think you know, nothing happened, but it's really dangerous. You know, it's really dangerous. But I understand how frustrating it is for the patient. You know, I think it can be managed better, but Anyway.
Yeah, in our situation, I think you waited since morning. When I came to visit you around 7 o'clock, nothing had happened. No one had come to tell her that we're taking you. Like, you know what? If nothing happens by 10,
Yes,
you
yes.
must eat.
Yes, because I remember you came in the afternoon as well. If you
Yeah.
see in the video, he came in the afternoon. So in the afternoon was when I was like sleeping, and in the evening, like when they came, I was now like up, you know. But I was lethargic. I was more thirsty than hungry. You know, I was more thirsty than hungry. But it was the not knowing how long I would go without food and water that was the difficult part.
Yeah.
If they told me, listen, at 8 a.m. you're only gonna get operated on at 8 p.m. right? I could have conditioned my mind, but the thing is you don't know, and that's the hardest part. So anyway, yeah, so by 8, so he came for the evening visiting hour, which is between 7 and 8, right? And I was tired, you know, and I was like, and I told him bring food, because obviously like he can only come during the visiting hours. Like even if they operate, I won't be able to eat immediately, but when they allow me to eat, right, you won't be here, so I need to make sure that there's food ready for me to eat. So he had brought the food, but I was like, if these guys don't come, that was like between 7 and 8.
Yeah, it was just before 8.
Yeah, so I was like, if they don't come, maybe around 9, I'm just gonna eat, right? Though I know they do operate people even like at 10
PM.
11. Yeah, I think they operate up until midnight. I don't know how long, but I did hear of another lady who was operated close to midnight. So anyway, I was like 9 o'clock, I'm just gonna eat and tell them, listen, I had to eat. So anyway, so we're busy talking, like me more listening to him because I was lethargic, and I was like, you know. And then they just came like all of a sudden, you know.
Pack your bags.
Pack your bags.
Are you the person who's going for?
Yes, they asked me my name and whatnot, and sometimes there's a little bit of disorganization because apparently they're supposed to put like
a tag.
Not a tag, that drip.
Oh yes,
that
yes.
thing, right? So apparently it's not the people who are operating who are supposed to do that. It's someone else who's supposed to, who have already prepped me for that, so that when they come they just get me. And you know what they say, like in that hospital, when you're having a natural birth, you can't have a partner, right? After COVID you can't have a partner, but if you're having a C-section,
you can't have a partner in theater.
Yes, in the labor room.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're doing the pushing and whatnot,
yes,
they don't allow partners in there. But what they will allow partners is if you're having a C-section.
Okay.
Then you can have a C-section.
That's valuable information.
Yeah. So he was on standby the whole day, and luckily he works not so far from the hospital. But I'm thinking, if let's say if they'd come like during the day, and was because like, no, let me just go to work, right? And then if they come and get you, just call me and I'll come quickly. I don't think he would have made it, because they came and got me in 5 minutes. It was like, you know, and they weren't going to wait for him, obviously. So I'm really grateful that it worked out that they came during that visiting hour. He was there with me. He was able to go with me to theater. So now, they at that hospital, maybe it's a general thing, I don't know, they prefer to do like C-sections that are epidural, so which is whereby they make you numb from the chest going downwards, right, up until your feet, and then you're awake, right? They say that it's the safest, and that's how I'd given birth by C-section the last time. I was awake, my husband was there, and yeah, I was awake during the whole process and everything. Obviously they put like that thing that you can't see, and you also can't see what they're doing, right?
No, you can't.
Yeah, so your partner will stand there,
right, sit next to you by
yeah, because I can imagine you looking at
them slicing and dressing and yeah, it's
yeah. So what happened is, so that's the default way they do it. But obviously if there are complications or whatever, then they'll do a general anesthetic whereby you are like unconscious and everything. So me, I had already done this process. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Okay, so now time for them to give me the epidural. It's like, I think they give you 2 injections, right? The first one is big, you can feel it, but you're supposed to start getting numb soon after, right? So they did it, I could feel it. The second one, I felt like they were jabbing me like multiple times, right? And I was like, I don't remember this happening the last time,
yeah.
you know. And then I remember, like, I don't know what they did, and then I had a knee-jerk reaction on my left leg. Like, sharp pain made me, you know, like when your knee goes up, like sort of like you're kicking, and then it stopped. And then they're like, what happened? And then I explained to them, and then they're like, okay. So then they started asking me.
Like they hit the wrong nerve.
Yes, I think they hit the wrong nerve. And then they said, okay, but they first explained to you how they're going to do it, and if, like, to say that if it doesn't work, then they'll use the other route. But they do explain everything to you, and they ask you to sign and whatnot. So the anesthetic was actually quite good, explaining everything, and, you know, she was really good. So anyway, she was like, okay, you start to feel a tingling sensation and whatnot. And I could start feeling the tingling sensation, but I still had feeling, you know. And then I couldn't quite remember how it was with my previous C-section, but I don't remember it taking so long. So anyway, they prep me, they make me lie on my hand. You have to be like this, or at least say that, or you have to be like this, like a cross, and then they put the thing in front, you know.
More like a curtain.
Yeah, like a curtain and stuff like that. So they'd asked my husband to step away from that part, and then what time did they bring?
So when you come in to the labor ward, the theater, there's a red line. They tell you don't cross this red line, and then they take you in. Whatever happens there, I think that's exactly what you're explaining. So it's only when they're done, they've made you numb, and then they say, okay, now you're ready for the actual thing to happen. So that's when I came in. And then I came in excited, and then she's like, can we, I think you said let's pray the first time, but then I didn't pray. So then they started doing the procedure. She's like, no, are you cutting? I said, no, just testing to see if it's if you're still feeling anything, just poking. But I think they're actually doing it, but because the numbness did not kick in, she was feeling the pain. So at that point, another nurse came and whispered to me, said, you know what, the doctor says that they're trying to do the numbness, but it's not working. So you might have to go outside. You might have to go outside, and we'll let you know when they're done with the procedure. So I'm thinking, now what's happening? Is this a complication or what? So I leave the theater, I go outside, and then the nurse comes back again and says, your wife is calling you. So I went there.
Okay, wait, before you get to that, but let me explain what happened. So so then they test, obviously, they say, can you move your feet? And I could move my feet. You know, when you're numb, you can't move your feet, right? And then they did a test, like, they
spray
something. Yes, they spray. So they spray on a part that doesn't have the epidural, the medication, where, like, you know you're supposed to feel something. And then you feel it, it's wet, it's cold, yes. And then they put it on a place whereby you're supposed to be numb. It's not supposed to feel the same, right? So they say, so when you do have, like, an epidural, you can feel the movement and pressure, but you're not supposed to feel pain.
Yes.
So it's not like you don't feel anything at all, but you're not supposed to feel pain. But I could feel that this is cold, like those big floodlights that they use, obviously, to see better and everything. I could feel the heat. I could feel it. And when they were just doing, like, trying to start the incision, like, a little, I could feel, because obviously those things are sharp, I could feel the thing. It wasn't painful as much as, but I could feel like this is like yes. I was like, no, this thing is not working. And then they said, no, okay, fine, we're gonna have to put you under. And I'm like, what is happening? You know, this is like, then that's when I started, like, panicking. Already my blood pressure was high, it was getting higher still, and then I'm like, yo. And then I was like, you know what, I believe in prayer, you know, I'm a Christian. And I was like, okay, I was like, you know, what if I die on the operating table? What if, you know, and I was like, I wanted to just say goodbye to my husband. I want him to pray, and, you know. So anyway, so then I asked them to call my husband in, you know, and then I'm like, and then they explained to him that, listen, the epidural is not working, we're gonna have to, you know, put your wife, like, under the general anesthetic, and you can't be in the process. It's like, fine. And it's like, your wife just wants to talk to you before you go. And I'm like, you know, please pray, you know. And I think he was shy to pray. I'm like, yeah, you need to pray out loud, yeah.
So I came in, And I'm like, okay, so we need to pray. Then I just, silent prayer. No, pray out loud.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So if you're gonna pray, let's do it the right way. And we prayed. After praying, the nurses and the doctors are all there waiting for me to say amen. And then finished praying. Then I was escorted outside. And I waited in the passage.
Yeah.
I was waiting outside in the passage.
Hold on, before you go there. So as he goes now, right? He goes. Then they have to put like oxygen mask on you, and then you have to breathe in and out. And then I don't know how they administer the medication, whatever that makes you go unconscious. I think it's like obviously they connected me to a drip already. I don't know if I think they do it, but then she said no, you're gonna start feeling like a hotness. You might feel uncomfortable, but don't worry, right? I'm like, okay, fine. And then they give me this breathing mask, and the nozzle is too small. So as I'm going like this, air is escaping, right? So it took me longer, and I'm like, I was now panicking. I'm like, God, what is happening? It seems like things are just not working out. I've had, a C-section before. It wasn't this complicated. Even now, I'm supposed to be going under, and it took, I don't know, 3 minutes. When it's supposed to take like a few seconds, you go like this, you're unconscious, you don't remember anything until it's done, And then I was even struggling to breathe. I'm like, I'm not breathing properly and whatnot. But eventually it started working, and then, yeah, that's when I feel unconscious. So now you can tell me you.
Oh, then you feel unconscious.
I feel unconscious.
So when you're unconscious, I was very conscious, listening to everything, hearing the ting ting ting. It's like the kitchen, knives and forks, the sounds.
Oh, could you hear that?
I could hear that, and then I'm thinking, so how long is it gonna take? I asked them, how long is the whole procedure gonna take? They said 30 minutes, and the 30 minutes they say no, an hour, but halfway through the process, they do it for 30 minutes, but now afterwards, that's where the whole complications start. So I waited. I think it was about 20 minutes in. I hear a voice, a cry coming out of the theater. I'm thinking, my hearing correct, is that a baby? Then I hear another cry, it becomes louder. I'm like, okay, that sounds like my baby. I got excited. Yeah, the baby is here. So finally the baby comes out, but I was actually thinking, is everything gonna go right? Is this goodbye? How is this gonna happen? Because the whole thing was just the swelling. It was just a bit scary. But I was optimistic that things are going to work out. But the moment they say the epidural wasn't working, and I'm thinking, oh no, we don't want this to happen. So yeah, silent prayers. And then finally, the baby comes. There's a nurse who came with the baby. Said, congratulations, the baby girl. I look at the girl, beautiful girl. Love, full in love at first sight. Beautiful. And then now the complications come, or maybe the challenging part comes. So we've seen the baby, I'm excited. Now I'm waiting. When is my wife gonna come? How long is it gonna take? And then it just dawned on me that, you know what, when the baby comes out, they have to do other procedures as well to make sure that she comes back. I've taken my kids to get their teeth extracted, so they pass out, and then it takes a few moments or minutes for them to wake up. So I'm thinking, how long is it gonna take? So she comes, they wheel her into the room where we were with the baby, and she's passed out, and then eventually she wakes up.
How long was it from the time they wheeled me in? How long did they give you to recover? I don't know from your.
No. So they make you recover in that side where you are before they wheel you back.
Yes.
So you actually are awake, but not quite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you are awake, but you're still lethargic, asking, Sandy, you're not even responsive, but we can see that there's, there's life. And then the first word that comes out of her mouth is, I'm in pain. I'm thinking, oh no, what did they do wrong? Did they leave a scissors inside the tummy or something?
These things happen.
So I'm wondering, did they leave anything? Why is she in so much pain? And it was so much. You could see pain written all over her face. She was in so much pain, and the nurses are trying, and the doctors are trying to rush her and say, no, don't worry, it's just she's disoriented, but she's okay. She's disoriented. It's just a medicine that is still, but give him a few minutes. But you could tell she's just saying pain. That's the only way she could say pain. I'm in pain. I'm in pain, and I'm in pain. Nothing else. up until I'm talking out to the doctors. I'm asking, so what really is happening? Is this normal?
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be like this? And she tries, now they're explaining to me what the procedure is. So they say she had the high blood pressure, and they say it's dangerous before pregnancy. So a lot of things can go wrong. The liver can collapse. Her mental faculties might not come back to normal. So she told me a whole list. Now, me processing what she's saying, and the person was shouting she's in pain, I just couldn't cope. I found myself feeling weak, sweating. I, I almost collapsed. I'm like, okay, hold on. I feel like I feel nauseous. She's like, oh, take off your mask. I was wearing those masks, the hospital masks and the head and
The scrubs.
the scrubs. I was wearing those things, and she's like, okay, take off your mask and take a seat. I just couldn't absorb the information she was telling me, and I'm thinking, okay, so my wife is likely not to function normally. If she makes it out of that, then maybe a liver is gonna fail. If you pass that, then this, I think she told me 5 other things, and I'm thinking, okay, so now us making it through here, and the last bit she say, good luck.
Wow.
Like, okay, no,
That's
that's not reassuring. So yes, it was a bittersweet moment when the baby came out. I was so excited.
Yeah.
When my wife came out, it was like, God, what is happening now? and these people, yes, they helped. They gave us some pain medication, but because when you get a C-section, they can't give you certain types of medication. There's some that are allowed, and I think they'd given her the first one. The other dosage that was stronger, that was the second one. They could only give her. They couldn't give her anything else, and still she was feeling pain, and they couldn't do much. So now what they wanted to do is to sign that the baby is okay. And I'm thinking, the woman is disoriented, like you said, and she can't even lift her hands up, because I don't know what was happening, but she couldn't raise her hands, and she was in so much pain. They say, we need you to sign this declaration that the baby is okay, you are the mother of the child, this is your child. I'm like, no, I'm the father. Let me sign on her behalf. She's like, no. You won't be there when we discharge you. We want her to sign. I'm like, but you say she's disoriented. What if the baby is the wrong baby? She just signs. How will she know this is the right baby? But they had to force, because I think she was now normal, but she was still in pain. She couldn't lift up her hands 2 inches up from the bed. Then eventually, I'm like, you know what? She can't do this. If she has to do it for her to come out, then give me the pen, I'll hold her hand, and give me that document. I'll sign while holding her hand. So I held her hand, and I just stressed her name. That was the signature she did. I'm like, yeah, there, she signed now. Can you release her?
Yeah, hey guys, from my perspective, actually, like even before I feel unconscious, right? I was now, but I'm like, God, is this it? Because obviously you never think it's you, but I'm like, God, is this, am I even going to make it? I hadn't really been scared for my life until that time when things were happening. And I was like, am I right? Am I ready to meet my maker? And you know what? I just like, God, I've just lived my life trying, doing my best to please you. I know it's not my works that make me enter into heaven. It's by grace through Christ Jesus who shed his blood for me. Yes. I was like, you start thinking about all the things like, oh, maybe I should have prayed more, or I could have fasted, am I good? Am I worthy? I'm not worthy, but I was like, oh God, I'm just submitting my hand, my child, everything. There was just not enough time to to do like, okay, God, I'm sorry for everything that I've done and whatnot. I just like, God, I just submit my life, my children, my unborn child into your hands and so forth. So yeah, I was really scared when I went under, but when I woke up, guys, like you were saying, I was in pain.
Sure, that was the Psalms
I was
23
in
situation.
pain. I was in pain, guys. I couldn't even remember why I was. The pain overshadowed everything. To ask, do I have a baby or whatnot? I didn't even. I was just in pain. I could feel everything. Obviously, they had to cut me open to take the baby out and sew me up and everything. And yeah, the painkillers, it's like they weren't working. I've given birth naturally, I've had a C-section. I know, yes, there's pain afterwards,
But
different
not this
levels.
one.
But this was like, I haven't been given any pain medication at all. I could feel it. That's why I was saying I'm in pain. Even just like when they say, no, do this, I was like, I just couldn't. And I'm like, give me more morphine, give me something. Like, we've given you enough. I was like, guys, it was agony. And like I was saying, they wanted me to sign, and I'm like, I can't even. It's not like I didn't want to sign. I didn't even care, but I just couldn't lift up my hand to think. And then to think that now, because it's a public hospital, you can't have your partners with you the whole time. It's a shared ward, obviously. It's not like you've got your own room. So now they just, even though I'm paying, you can hardly move. They just put your baby like next to you like this.
Yeah.
They just put the baby next to me like this, and they
wheeling you out of that place, because when they're wheeling you out of the theater, it's a passage to take you to the ward. There's these strips, so the bed goes and
like between,
and you'd feel every pain. I'm
yes.
thinking for like, oh no, don't. It's like you want it to float in the air, and that the face, when she hit the face handle, she's like, please take care of our children. I'm thinking, okay, so now is she dying now? Oh my God, help us through this Psalms 23 situation. It was a valley of death.
Guys,
but right now we smile, we talk about it.
Yeah.
But I saw God at work, God working on our behalf. The prayers that people prayed from different parts of the world and different places, it really came through for us. This child is a miracle. Her recovery is even a bigger miracle. It was a bad situation.
And then they asked you to leave.
Yeah, like, go. I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay, fine, let me make sure she's settled. It's, no, you need to leave. It wasn't. I'm thinking we should be able to even nestle the baby. We should be able to hold the baby. It's like you want to take the baby home and bring her back tomorrow in the morning when she's feeling much better. But no, mother and baby have to be together. And I felt helpless.
It was difficult. They put me in the recovery ward, and they put the baby here for skin to skin. Because the epidural didn't work, I could still move. So I was feeling pain. I could still move my legs. I wasn't moving them, but I could still move my hands. But I was in pain. And there was a clock, in the ward. And I was asking, so when can I have the next dose of painkillers? And they're like, after 4 hours or 6 hours. It was agony. I couldn't even sleep because the pain was intense. And I'll just have to wake up and then sleep and then realize it's only been 30 minutes. I was literally waiting for that time. Each time a nurse comes in, I'm like, don't forget you have to give me pain meds. It was, guys, it was hectic. But the baby, she was so sweet, she was tired, so she hardly even missed. I can't even remember. I know that, she was sleeping most of the time, like the first day. And then the other thing is, because of my high blood pressure, they had to put they put me on drip. They put a drip with the medication, and then they put that cuff for that BP machine, the one that tests your BP. So this one was set to automatically test my BP every hour. So I was like this, literally. I could move my hands a little bit, but not a lot. But it was difficult. But thank goodness, they had the catheter, so I didn't have to go out to do anything. But it was hectic. I was so thirsty. I still had to wait a few hours before I could even drink water. It was
really?
Yes. You can't eat immediately, or you can't eat or drink water immediately after. Right? Yes, but I was still thirsty. So maybe I wasn't dehydrated, but my mouth felt like I just wanted I needed water. So, guys, it was hectic, but you know what, I made it. That first day, I was like, you came to see me, right, the next day.
No, before I came to see you, I couldn't sleep.
Oh, yes.
So I'm thinking, how is she? I'm thinking, is she still alive? And I didn't want to phone her because she's tired. She wants to sleep. And eventually, I woke up. I think I woke up around 3 a.m. I just prayed that I hope my wife is fine. She's not fine, heal her and stuff. She tells me that at that point she was in pain.
I was in pain.
Yeah, in pain.
Yeah. So I had to wait 6 hours because if it's, yeah, it was 3 a.m. I had to wait, yeah, up until 4. Yeah, I think up until 4 a.m. in the morning. So the procedure was done around 9. Yeah, so I had to wait up until 3, 4 before I had the next dose of medication, like painkiller. So it was hectic. But yeah, the next day I was like in and out of consciousness, you know. I remember like even my phone, I wasn't looking at the people, like some people send messages. I was like, I was just, I don't know, I was just out of it, you know. You came to visit me. I was talking, but I wasn't making sense.
You're not yourself.
Yeah.
You could see that this person is under the influence
Yes.
of pain and drugs.
It makes you look.
Yeah, so she would talk one moment and she should phone me. Visiting hour is 2 o'clock. And she calls me at 1:45. Where are you? I'm thinking that doesn't sound like my wife. I'm like, I'm almost there. It's not that the baby's being fast. Can you come here quickly? I come in there too.
Yes, I needed an extra pair of hands because even just to move her, it was really difficult. She nursed the whole 24 hours of her life on the one, you know, on one side, and I couldn't burp her. She ended up having gas because of that because I couldn't even sit up. And yeah, guys, it was just hectic. But anyway, it gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better. I did recover, guys. That's just a lot happened afterwards. And yeah, I think this video is already too long. And
yeah, part 2 next time.
Part 2 next time. I don't know. Maybe I'll see. Maybe I'll break it into 2 parts, or I'll just upload the whole thing. But yeah, guys, it was just it was just an experience. But I just wanna just say how grateful I am, you know, for that I made it, you know. Sometimes, you know, you can get like really caught up in why did it have to happen to me. Others just like seem to just sneeze and the baby comes out, and it's just like, you know, they never have, like for me it seems like I always have like some issue like during labor and delivery with all my kids. You know, this was the most dramatic, but yeah, there's always something. But you know, when you put it in perspective, it's like at least I've never come home empty-handed. So yeah, so the others who don't make it and the baby makes it, or vice versa, you know, or the others with bigger complications than the one I had. So I'm really grateful, you know. I thank God for, you know, for preserving me, for preserving my child. And you know, she is so worth it. She is so worth it. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is like, yeah, I want to share my experiences, but it's also like a video diary, right? So that one day, you know, my daughter can see like this whole process, you know. If she ever doubts my love, you know, after she sees what I went through and hears that, you know, she better not doubt it, you know.
Well, but yeah, I say, I didn't ask to be born.
I didn't ask to be born, you know, after everything I went through, you know. So yeah, so just to say, yeah, mothers go through a lot, and
they do.
And yeah, just
and fathers too.
And fathers too. Yes, and fathers too. But just to say, you know what, I appreciate, I have a whole lot more appreciation for my mom after, you know, giving birth myself. And yeah, you know, parents are not perfect, but if at least your mother gave birth to you, you know, it wasn't easy, no matter how it was done, you know, it wasn't a walk in the park. And yeah, they deserve honor just for that. If they've only ever done that, then, you know, they deserve honor for that. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, we forgot to introduce the baby. Let me go get her.
Okay.
Okay, guys, so this is the precious little girl who caused all that fuss. Yeah,
she's worth it, eh?
She is worth it. Look at her. There you go. She's sleeping.
She sleeps through the day. At night she wakes up and she bonds with the mom. Yeah,
she just nurses. She wakes up just to feed. And yeah, she's so precious.
She's a sweet baby. She doesn't well. I remember the first week we never had a cry. The first day she cried, everyone came running. It was like a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the baby's crying.
Yeah, she doesn't cry easily, but when she does, oh, she'll like, yeah. But her voice is so low.
She's a very strong person. Like,
so yeah, so her name is
Chido
Amia Rose. So her first name is Amia Rose.
Yes.
And yeah, Amia means beloved, right? So she got that name from her sister, Beloved Rose. We usually like short names. I think if you saw the video about baby names that we like, you know the.
I want to hold it, but I'm thinking I might mess up.
Ooh,
I
my
might miss.
goodness.
That's what I'm scared
We're
of.
gonna cut that part out.
That's what I'm scared of.
There you go. Yeah, so her name means beloved rose, and she got that from her sister. We usually like short names, but since it was the big sister who gave her first name, then yeah, we're like, okay, so we've grown to like it.
Okay.
And then Chido is actually Shwana, so we are Shwana, and it means like your desire, your heart's desire, and she really is our heart's desire. She was like, we had that name even before she was conceived. We're like, if we have a baby girl,
Yes.
we're gonna call her Chilo because it was our heart's desire, and God honored that. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please
Not
hit
to
that.
forget, sorry, just before you say that, that we gave her a name, as if we knew that it's gonna be a girl. Was it 2 years or a year before she was conceived?
Yes, yes. No, we already said if we have a girl, you know, we're gonna use that. And even before we found out the gender, we're already calling the baby Chilo, like, if it's a boy, we have to change it. I guess, like, Shona names can be, they're gender neutral they can be gender neutral, but usually you find that there's certain names that are, like, mostly for girls and certain names that are that are for boys. But yeah, so God really answered our prayers, and yeah, we're really grateful for that. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a long video, or a very long video. I don't know how many minutes it is, but please hit that like button, guys. Please subscribe if you're new. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers, and like, share and comment. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye. Say bye-bye.